Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a good old-fashioned country supper, and I'm going to show you how I do squash dressing. A lot of Southerners especially make this in the summer. It's a way to get rid of their excess squash. They're going to put it in a cornbread dressing. You know, it's made basically the same way. We just add this extra vegetable to it, like the one that we do in, you know, like during the holidays. So I cooked about a pound, I boiled about a pound of yellow summer squash, and I chopped it up. Just what I did was coarsely diced, basically. Wasn't real small, wasn't real large, somewhere in between. Then I chopped up 2 ribs of garlic, an onion, and I just did a half of a yellow bell pepper. You can do any color bell pepper that you want. The recipe calls for 1 medium chopped. It was kind of large, but it was only half of one. But I just went ahead and chopped it up and put it in there. And yellow is all I had, so I went with it. You can do any color. It does call for red, but you can do you can do red, yellow, orange, or green. Doesn't matter. Alright, and you're going to have to add a can of cream of chicken soup. Of course. Now, I went ahead earlier and I made my cornbread and I set it aside. Day-old cornbread's the best to use, but you can use whichever, it doesn't matter. And then I have some chicken broth set aside. Now, what I want to do is go ahead and put in my seasonings a little bit. And then this is poultry seasoning. You're only going to need about half a teaspoon. But I'm going to just eyeball it. Instead of red pepper, which is what it calls for, I'm going to put just a little bit of sage. Just a little bit. But you're welcome to put red pepper in there. I'm not real sure what they mean by that. It doesn't say crushed red pepper, like as in the spicy flakes. Maybe paprika is what they mean. So I'm just going to leave that out. I am going to, however, put some black pepper in. Okay. As far as salt goes, I wouldn't. Just because the soup and the broth have plenty. You can, but I would kind of steer away from that. You can use low sodium on either one of those though. That's totally up to you. And then you can add your own salt based off of that. If you did add salt, I would not even do a half a teaspoon. Maybe a quarter of a teaspoon or so. Okay, so let's recap. This is all of our vegetables: our squash, our bell pepper, our onion, our celery, a can of soup, and our canned cream of chicken soup, and our spices so far. All right, what do we got left? Okay, so what I'm going to do is, it's only supposed to be about 14 ounce can of chicken broth. I've got 16 ounces here. And I've got my cornbread. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut up my cornbread. And add it to it. And you're going to need about 5 cups worth of crumbled cornbread. Hopefully I have enough. Alright, let me wash my hands real quick. Okie dokie. Now, the reason why I left the broth out for the end is because I want to take the broth and that kind of determine if I need more than just 2 cups worth. So I did just a little bit over that. All right, let's go ahead and pour it in. All right, now this recipe does not call for an egg, and usually we use that as a binder, so I'm assuming that they're going to use the soup as a binder. And then I want to get this a little bit wet, wetter than normal, so it doesn't dry out too bad in the oven. So that was one reason why I made up some extra chicken broth. And if you're just now following this, you know, just now coming on my channel, I use bouillon cubes a lot, and that way I always have a supply of broth. It's easier to store. It's like this small little jar with a bunch of little cubes in it. My mom always did it, so this is something I continued, and it's cheap. It's what I do. I'm going to go ahead and add all of that because it's got my herbs and stuff down at the bottom. And I was going to tell you, I don't know if you've ever seen this or not, but Weiler's makes 2 different types of chicken bouillon cubes. One is just chicken, and it says chicken bouillon on the front of the jar, and then there's one that says, what does it say? Herbs and spices. Chicken, herbs, and spices. Get the one that says herbs and spices when you're making this. It really helps with the flavor. I can tell a big difference when I don't use it and I just use the plain. Okay, y'all. 13 by 9, greased, 350 degree oven. And then we're just going to pour it in. That's it. Really simple. I've already got my cranberry sauce in the fridge. My husband likes the cranberry sauce on there. Me, I don't like it with all those vegetables. I would rather have it plain, but sometimes it's all right. It's a little bit of savory, a little bit of sweet. Okay, y'all. 350 degree oven for about 40 to 45 minutes. And then I will meet you back here with my next little item that we're going to have for dinner. Okay, y'all, so this is just a quick thing that I do sometimes. If I've thawed out chicken too late and it's just not gonna, you know, cook really well, you know, like, I'm sorry, didn't mean to bump the camera. It's not gonna cook really well because it's frozen. Like, I can do a lot more with it when it's thawed completely. But I just get a baking dish. I spray it with some cooking spray. I put the chicken pieces in and I just sprinkle it with some spices. And then that way it can go ahead and cook, and I am going to cover it. And then once, since I could probably cut it with it frozen, but sometimes it's really frozen real well. So, and it's just too hard to try to cut through. So what I do is I'll do this, and once the chicken is done, I will cut it then because it's easier to cut. I just sprinkled salt and pepper, paprika, garlic powder, and onion powder on it. You can find tons of different seasoning mixes online and at the store already mixed together. And, you know, sky's the limit on that. And you can just take a plain piece of meat, sprinkle that on there, and it's, you know, dinner. And you don't have to really put too much thought into it. These were leg quarters. I was looking for a cheap choice as far as chicken goes for tonight, and this was literally all they had was this one pack, and it was the cheapest out of everything I saw, which is terrible, but it's going to feed everybody. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces for like $5, so we did pretty good on that. That with the dressing is going to be like less than $10 for the meal. So anytime that I can not go over $10 per meal, that's a win. Many times I cannot. So tonight, budget meal is going to work out. It's going to fill everybody, and everybody goes to bed happy and healthy. All right, I'll see you back here when everything's done. Okay, y'all, so this is the finished product. Baked chicken turned out great. I was able to cut into it. Just like I told y'all, you could, you know, stick it in whole, and then after it's cooked so long, you can cut into it then. But it turned out perfect like always. Like I said before, you can use your own spices to make a dry rub, or you can buy one from the store. And the dressing turned out fine too, even though there was no egg to make it more binding. You have some things in there that kind of take the place of that, so it turned out fine. It came out of the dish perfectly without destroying it. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to work on some extreme budget meals. So right now I've got about 14 ounces of smoked sausage, and I'm just getting it warmed up, maybe charred just a little bit on the edges, and we're going to put some cabbage and onions with it. We're not going to make it creamy or anything like that. We're going to fry it in the grease that the oil that I added plus the grease from the sausages to flavor the onions and the cabbage, and then I'm going to make some fried potatoes to go with it. So it's just an extreme budget meal. I think sausage cost the most. It was about $4. It was either 3 or 4. It's probably $4. It was just 14 ounces of brine smoked sausage. It wasn't anything special, anything like that. You could probably get a little bit cheaper. I would say you could probably even get $1 cheaper, at least here in Alabama. And then the cabbage was just a few dollars, and then I already had the onion. But an onion, I mean, you could get an onion for about 50 cents now. So let's see, definitely under $10 for this meal. Probably about $6 or $7 at the most. And I'm not even going to use the whole cabbage, most likely. I even bought a small one because I didn't want it to be too much. But it shouldn't cost much at all. This is the best thing on a budget, and it's filling, and it can feed at least a family of 5. And I may put some rolls with it. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, I'll be back here in a few minutes once I start adding the cabbage and onions. Okay, y'all. So it's time for me to take these out. I'm just going to put them in a bowl, set them to the side. Okay. Now I cut up about a medium-sized cabbage, and I only did half, and then a whole onion. I'm gonna stick all this in here. Now I'm gonna turn this over in this pan with just the oil and the grease that's left over from the sausage, just for a little while, because that grease is going to disappear. So what we're going to do is add a tad bit more oil so we get the rest of those drippings, and I'm going to add a little bit of water to kind of steam the cabbage. Just a little bit of water. Alright, apparently I left one in there. Put that out. There we go. Alright. A little bit more oil, you know, about a couple tablespoons or so. Turn this around, turn this over in the skillet just a little bit. Now we're going to have to keep an eye on this because we don't want our onions burning. So let me get a little bit of water. I mean, just a little bit, probably 1/8 of a cup. And I'm going to get the lid, set it on here. Stir it up a little. Put the lid on here and let it steam as it cooks. And as soon as we get to our next point in this recipe, I will come back. Okay, y'all. So everything's softened up quite a bit. I don't want it too soft, so we're going to go ahead and add sausage back in. Now, I have made a similar video to this, but I think it was called Creamy Sausage, Cabbage, Alfredo, something. I don't even know. But this right here, you can add soy sauce to it if you kind of want it a little bit more Asian-y, I guess. But all I'm going to do is add a little bit of kosher salt. Not much, because I don't want to overdo it. And if I can find my pepper, I'm going to add some pepper. I'm going to figure out what I did with it. In my face. It's right there. Lord help me. Okay. So, just season to taste, but I would go easy on the salt until you're able to taste it and make sure it's not too much. Okay. Now, this is done. I'm going to make some fried potatoes, and then as soon as I get that started, I'm going to take you over to the other side of the stove because we're going to go ahead and put together our rolls. We're going to make mayonnaise rolls. I've made them before. They're real simple. Flour, milk, some mayonnaise. That's it. And then make a real simple dinner roll, really cheap, on the budget, not expensive at all. You should be able to make that. I can make it out of powdered milk as well. So it's just real easy, simple roll to go with dinner. Okay, I'll see you back here in just a few minutes. Okay, y'all. So we are going to make some mayonnaise rolls. 1.5 cups of self-rising flour. I'm whisking it to get the lumps out. So I got that. Set that aside. We're going to need a cup of milk. I've made these for years. I had an Alabama Power cookbook. It was through our power company that was my dad's. I received it once my father had passed away, and looking in there, the different recipes, I had found this one, and it's always been, you know, I always had these things on hand, so I thought, wow, that would be great. So we made them. Everybody loves them. So I don't make them all the time, but I used to make them all the time. You need to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. And this is basically just a dump and go kind of recipe. Oh, I knew that was going to happen because I'm in a hurry. I put everything in a muffin tin. You don't have to do that. But it's like a batter consistency, so it can't, you know, you can't roll it out or anything like that. You can probably put it in a loaf pan. But I don't worry about getting the lumps out or anything. Just try to mix it really good. Preheat your oven to 400. And let me get my muffin tin and get it greased, and I'll be right back. Okay. Got my muffin tin. And got my batter ready. And you just fill it up like you're going to make muffins. And this recipe is easily doubled. So, simple, simple, simple recipe. Usually this will fill up my muffin tin, but not today. I'm going to have to borrow some from some of these other cups. Okay. Let me get a spatula. We're going to try to make another roll over here. Let's see, I don't see any that's got a little too much. Maybe this one. And, you know, they don't have to be perfect. These boys do not care. They will eat it. They're such good boys. They eat anything that's put in front of them, usually. Alright, so let's clean this up a little bit. Alright, 400 degree oven. And it usually don't take long. I don't even remember how long I leave it in there. 20-25 minutes. Just whenever you see that they're brown and you can stick a toothpick in there and see if they're done all the way through. They are ready to take out. Alright, I'll see y'all back here in a few minutes. Okay, y'all. So this is the finished product. I have my cabbage with my sausage here. I made some fried potatoes here, and then we have our mayonnaise rolls there. You can switch this up however. Do you want turkey sausage, or even you could probably do breakfast sausage or Italian sausage. We really don't like the Italian, and we try to save the breakfast sausage for our breakfast dishes. But I mean, we could easily switch it out. It's not a big deal. And the fried potatoes is literally just peeled potatoes, chopped up, diced however you like, fried until they're soft, and add some kosher salt and pepper. But you can add other things too. You can add seasoned salt, onion powder, garlic powder, anything. And then the mayonnaise rolls, just these little cute little rolls that is just an extra little source of carbs to go with the meal. Okay, y'all, make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time.